Hi, Mike Brindley, auctioneer. Discussing again today disclaimers, waivers, assignments, all this stuff that's getting stuffed into auctioneers' terms, conditions, contracts, everything. Everywhere I look, we're not responsible, or you are responsible. Those kinds of things that didn't exist it didn't exist when I got in the auction business, but boy, oh boy, lately, auctioneers are not responsible for anything they say, anything they print, anything they post, anything in the catalog, any photo, any representation, their bid calling, nothing. I'm not responsible for anything. And so, where are auctioneers getting this? Well, attorneys are saying, some attorneys are saying, well, there's all this tort lawsuit claims filings in the United States. The courts are covered up with tort law. Tort law is generally law of good behavior. In other words, there's no contract in place, but if you walk into a retail establishment, there's a cord laying there that you can trip over, or there's water on the floor that you can slip on, that kind of thing. Tort responsibilities, if you will. Well, let me give you some insight. Back in the 1980s, the courts were arguably covered up with tort cases. This is 2020, and the courts are not covered up with tort cases. I remarked in a previous video that some states were seeing tort claims comprising as much as 10%, probably less, of their total civil caseload. Nationwide average, and I saw several references to this as I did a little research, it's not hard. Nationwide, tort claims amount to, here in 2020, 2019, about 3.5%. And of that 3.5% of all civil cases, only 3.5% are tort claims. 30% of that is a business suing another business, leaving personal-based, individual tripping over a cord, slipping on water, that type of thing, as there's probably somebody calling about a tort claim right there. 2.5% of all claims. It's not that we have a bunch more other claims. It's that we have far fewer tort claims in the courts these days. And so what I'm suggesting, if you're making your terms and conditions longer and longer and longer, where you're disclaiming, distancing yourself from any responsibility of anything, and the reason is, well, there's all this tort claims going, the courts are covered up with tort claims. Every day there's a no class action against, or the attorneys filing, we're going to sue because you didn't or did. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. What I've seen personally with $1 million plus lawsuits is auctioneers have a lot of that stuff in there so that they can misbehave. It gives them a incentive to misbehave because, well, you notice in our terms and conditions that you can't rely on anything I say. So I can be a little sloppy. I can be a little careless. I can actually intentionally premeditate misrepresentation. Because see, over here, you can't rely on anything I say. I think it'd be a good time to take a look at your terms and conditions. I've argued this for 10 years, maybe more, and see what you can take out. There are tort concerns, but how about an insurance policy? How about you buy some insurance? Now, insurance companies are notorious for denying claims and saying, well, we don't cover that, or we have a limit on that. And of course, if you file a claim, if you file a number of claims or you file large claims, you'll probably get your insurance canceled. So, you know, I mean, you have to discuss that with your insurance agent. But you've got insurance to cover tort issues. And the disclaimers and the waivers and the assignments seem to me to be serving another purpose. And if your argument is there's all this tort lawsuits, claims, filings, oh my gosh, the courts are stuffed with it. I'm here to tell you, they're not. They're not. Mike Brantley, Auctioneer. Pleasure to be with you today. Other videos on the same page, others forthcoming. Have a great day. Stay safe.